Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Foliage. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. So guys, this is another variety of Alocasia, a very different variety. It's called as the Alocasia. I'll put the name on the screen. So this is a very beautiful green colored foliage plant, very different from our regular Alocasias. Talking about the care requirements, these can be grown outdoor as well as indoor, but if you're growing it indoor, ensure that it is getting a good amount of indirect bright light. And if you're growing it outdoor, ensure that you're not putting it out in direct sunlight, because they do not like direct sunlight. The leaves will get burnt. So this is about the light. Give it a good amount of either indirect bright light or filtered light or dappled sunlight. You can even keep it below other huge foliage plants as long as it's not getting any direct sunlight. Now if you remember, my plant was in a very bad condition when I came back, but now it is putting out a lot of new growth. It is finally putting a lot of new growth at the base and on the top as well. You can see this is a new growth. So it is doing quite well. The soil mix remains the same what I use for all of my foliage plants. I'll put the link in the description below. You can check it out. I tend to use the same soil mix. Talking about fertilizers, it's best to do it during the summers or during the monsoon season. You can give it a good amount of rainwater. So if you want to add any fertilizers, do it during the summer season. Do not do any fertilizers, or do not add any fertilizers during the winter season, because that's their dormant period. A lot of times they might drop the leaves depending upon what environment you are and how cold the environment is. They tend to drop because they are kind of warm growing plants. They grow in the warmer seasons. So right now it's putting out a lot of new growth because it has been slightly warm in my city. Talking about pest attack, they do get affected with these white flies, so it's always better to check the undertones of the leaves, underneath of the leaves. If you tend to see anything, you can go for any organic solution that you have been doing. Propagation is pretty simple. You can do a root division or you can separate the offsets. Root division tends to work out really well. Now you cannot do it via stem, like you cannot take this petiole and cut it off. It will not grow like that. You have to do it either from the stem. You can even separate the rhizomes, but the root division is the best method to propagate them. They tend to put out multiple pups. I will do a propagation sometime later. Right now I cannot do it because it's very small. So once it gets a little bit mature, I can do a root division. And talking about watering, whenever you feel that the upper layer of soil around 2 to 3 inches is dry, you can go ahead and water it, because they do not like to be sitting in dry soil for a very long time. They like slight moisture in the soil. That is the reason why we tend to use a little bit of coco peat, so that there can be a slight moisture that is retained in the soil. They do not like to be underwatered for a very long time, otherwise they will start to turn brown. The leaves will turn crisp, so you have to ensure that there is a slight moisture at all given point of time. Temperature, as I said, they prefer little warmer temperature in order to grow. If the temperatures are very high, let's say above 40 degrees Celsius, then move them indoor or in a place where it is much cooler. Do not keep them in a very hot place. Even if you're growing them indoor, ensure that they are not exactly under the air conditioning vent, otherwise that will burn or that will dry the leaves. And do not keep it very close to the heater. That will again damage the leaves. Keep it in a place where there is a good amount of air circulation and indirect bright light. And as I said, if you're keeping it outside, do not keep it in direct sunlight, otherwise the leaves will get burnt. It's an absolutely beautiful plant, very easy to care, non-fussy, does not require a lot of maintenance. You can just plant it and forget about it, and just keep watering as and when the soil tends to dry, and it is going to work out really well. This is one of the most easiest plant that you can add if you are a beginner. Very easily it tends to grow without any fuss. Now this plant is slightly toxic, so keep it away from small children and pets. In case if the leaves are ingested, it can cause trouble, so ensure that you keep it out of their reach. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep planting.